What's good, everybody? It's Stories here, and today we're going to be talking about Monday Night Raw. Now, this episode took place on December 5th, 2022, live from Washington, D.C. And if you missed this episode, you didn't really miss much. Like, there was a whole bunch of nothing taking place on this show. Um, I feel like the storylines that are taking place right now in WWE, they're kind of lackluster, to say the least. It's like, there's just not a whole bunch going on right now. So, I guess it's to be expected because the Royal Rumble isn't until the end of January. So these shows are gonna feel kind of boring until they actually start building for the Royal Rumble. But right now it just feels boring. So starting off the show, we got the Usos coming out. We were supposed to get the Usos versus Matt Riddle and Elias, but we found out Elias he had gotten jumped in the parking lot by Solo Sikoa. So Matt Riddle, he came out. He said he found himself a new tag team partner, and it just so happens that that tag team partner was Kevin Owens. I'm not gonna go too much into detail in this match. If you guys watch pro wrestling, you already know the deal. You know, opening spot. Somebody establishes control before the break. They come back from commercial break. Somebody's in control. Hot tag, false finishes, and then they go into the finish. So the finish of this match is basically the Usos. They won with the 1D. They hit it on Matt Riddle. But the real story was what took place after the match. So after the match, the Usos and Sami Zayn, they continue to attack Matt Riddle. Kevin Owens, he brings in a steel chair to equalize the situation. He ends up running off the Usos and Matt Riddle. I'm sorry, he ends up running off the Usos and Sami Zayn backstage. So now we have Matt Riddle and Solo Sikoa in the ring together. Solo, he sees an opportunity, so he picks Matt Riddle up and he hits him with a Samoan spike. And he gives him one of those hip attacks in the corner, kind of like Umaga and the Usos do. But that wasn't enough for Solo. So he went outside the ring and he grabbed a chair that was just chilling at ringside, and then he ended up putting it around Matt Riddle's neck and gave him another hip attack in the corner. So this caused Matt Riddle to need medical attention. He got stretchered out, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what's going on with Matt Riddle. I'm not really someone that pays attention to dirt sheets and whatnot, but it looks like he's gonna be off TV for a while. Because I mean, why else would they stretcher him out? So this is, in my opinion, this is a good thing for Matt Riddle because it feels like he's just been stuck ever since Randy Orton left. He hasn't really been able to do much. How can I put this? It just feels like his character is getting stale, you know? So him going away could actually be a good thing, and maybe he could come back with a more serious character. Anyways, so next up on this show, we have two women's triple threat matches. And the winner of each of their respective triple threat matches will go on to face each other next week in a one-on-one match, and the winner will be the number one contender for Bianca Belair's Raw Women's Championship. So in one triple threat match, we have Bayley versus Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. Now, Bayley, she made her entrance to the ring. Becky Lynch, she came down from the crowd before anybody else in this match could come out. And her and Bayley, they get into an exchange of words. Becky's basically just like, listen, every time I'm around, you're not around. And every time you're around, I'm not around. And it turns out that they haven't crossed paths in nearly 3 years. I believe that's what Becky said. So Bayley, she wanted her respect for carrying the Raw Women's division. But the crowd wasn't really acknowledging her. You know, the same way that they acknowledged Roman Reigns. They was not acknowledging Bayley this time. And Becky called Bayley the least successful person in damage control. And I mean, it's kind of true because every time Bayley has faced Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship, she's lost. And I mean, Io Sky and Dakota Kai, they aren't really that much better anyways. I mean, they're the women's tag team champions, but who really cares about those titles? If you But anyways, back to this promo. So Becky Lynch, she wishes Bayley a good luck. She says maybe next week we'll finally get to have that match. Rhea Ripley, she made her entrance, and her and Becky Lynch had a stare down with no physical competition. Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley is a good match that I would be interested in seeing. I like Rhea Ripley. I feel like Becky Lynch kind of fell flat throughout the years. I mean, her best run was in 2019 when she had the whole man thing going on. but I don't know. It feels like Becky Lynch is just kind of flat right now. But I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. That's a match that I'll be interested to see. So the finish of this match was Rhea Ripley. She took a nasty bump on the outside, and then Bayley hit a Rhodes plant on Asuka for the win. So she's going to be moving on to face the winner of the next women's triple threat match, which I'll get into right now. So in that triple threat match, we had Alexa Bliss versus Nikki Cross versus Becky Lynch. I wasn't really too interested in this match. It main evented the show, and everything that preceded it was kind of boring. So how could you expect me to be interested in this match? So with that being said, let's just skip to the finish. Io Sky and Dakota Kai, they come through the crowd. They pull Becky Lynch out the ring. They hit a double power bomb on her through the announce table, which looked very terrible. I'm not gonna lie, but at least the table broke, so they didn't look stupid. Anyways, Alexa Bliss, she hits a twist of bliss on Nikki Cross, and she picks up the victory. So she'll be facing Bayley next week in a number one contenders match for the Raw Women's Championship. Now, personally, the way I would book this match between Alexa Bliss and Bayley is I would have Becky Lynch somehow cost Bayley the match, because she does need to get her revenge on Bayley. I mean, Bayley sent Damage Control out to attack Becky Lynch, and basically costed her her opportunity at the Raw Women's Championship. So Becky, she needs her revenge. Alexa Bliss should be the winner of that match because Bianca Belair needs new opponents. We can't keep seeing Bayley versus Bianca Belair, or Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair all the time. Like, they've been doing that story for the past year now, and it's pretty boring. So the next thing I want to talk about on this show was a pull apart brawl between Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins. Those two are going one on one next week, with the winner being the number one contender for the United States Championship. So Seth Rollins, he made his entrance to the ring. Bobby Lashley, he made his entrance to the ring. Rollins, he tried to get under Bobby Lashley's skin by mentioning things like how Brock Lesnar beat him at Crown Jewel and that Brock Lesnar is a bigger star, this, that, and the third. At first, it didn't work, but Rollins ended up saying he better keep his head focused or else Rollins is going to beat him next week. And this is what set Bobby Lashley off, so he hit him over the head. And they started brawling. Referees and officials came out to try to break it up. They eventually got back into the ring. Referees and officials are still trying to break it up. Bobby Lashley, he attempts a spear on Seth Rollins, but Rollins, he pulls one of the producers in the way, and Bobby Lashley hits him with the spear instead. If I'm being honest, I didn't really like this. I mean, how can I enjoy a pull-apart brawl when we see one almost every other week on the show? Like, it's just getting very old to me. So that was pretty much like the highlights of the show. I'm just gonna run through a few things. So next up, we have Austin Theory versus Mustafa Ali for the United States Championship. This match wasn't really nothing special. It ended in a DQ because Ziggler, he super kicked Austin Theory right in the middle of the match. Ali, he was upset with what Ziggler did, so they started arguing. But in the end, Austin Theory, he attacked both men and laid them both out. I like Mustafa Ali as a wrestler, but the way he's been booked, it's really hard for me to be interested in him. So, like I said, I just didn't really care about this. So next up, we have the JBL Poker Invitational, and we got a couple segments on this show which revolved around this, but it wasn't too interesting. It set up a couple matches. So in one match, we have the OC with Mia Yim at ringside versus Baron Corbin and Alpha Academy. This match is basically taking place because AJ Styles called Baron Corbin cheating at the poker table, and then everybody sitting around the table got involved in a shoving match. So in the end, Gallows and Anderson, they hit a magic killer on Gable for the win. And then we also have another match which got set up by this whole JBL Poker Invitational thing, which was Dominic Mysterio and Akira Tozawa. Tozawa was winning all the chips at his table, and Dominic Mysterio got caught stealing some of the chips, so that upset Tozawa. They had a match. Not really too much to say. Tozawa, he misses a senton off the top rope, and Dominic Mysterio hits a frog splash for the win. I'm not sure if I said this earlier, but the Royal Rumble doesn't take place until the last Saturday in January. So these next few shows are probably going to be uninteresting, to say the least. I mean, at least until they start building towards the Royal Rumble. Truthfully, I wish they would give us one of those like special Raws or SmackDowns where They just make it feel like a big show, kind of like how AEW does. Except AEW does it way too often. You know, it feels like we get a gimmick show all the time in AEW. But it would be nice if we got like a cool show that was actually big, since there's no pay-per-view in December, and you know, like actually build towards that. Because these shows just kind of feel lackluster right now for the moment. And I mean, it is what it is. So anyways, guys, if you made it to this point in the video, I hope you enjoyed this commentary. If you did, please hit that like button. I really tried to get this video out on Tuesday, but I just couldn't, so it's coming out on Wednesday. But yeah, if you enjoyed the commentary, please hit that subscribe button. That way my videos will pop up in your sub box. And I hope you have a good day or night, depending on when you're watching this. And I'm out.